Hey Dom, this is Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into a new video that resurfaced of BTS and the Grammys, and what I believe to be RM kind of admitting that maybe he doesn't like the Grammys as much anymore, and I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I want to discuss. I also want to get into the new hit show Squid Game and maybe V and Jin being a part of it. Let's talk. So grab your dumpling, a tea spilling mug merch, and let's jump into the tea. If you're new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified and some new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be first to leave your hate comment, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also, and you'll be first to do so. Now let's jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about is BTS and the Grammys. After a new video resurfaced, people have been talking about the Grammys again, and it even began trending on the Tweetster. Now if you don't know, maybe you just came into the fandom yesterday, but BTS is shockingly not a Grammy-winning artist or group. And it's very strange to me because there are artists I haven't even really heard much about, and they have multiple Grammys. Meanwhile, you constantly hear about BTS and they don't even have one. But they are a Grammy-nominated group, and that is actually a big honor. It's not like a participation trophy. It's actually a big deal. But BTS had documented their reaction to when the winners were announced, when they were nominated, and they filmed them being a little disappointed. They were definitely a good sport about it, but you can definitely tell they were sad. I remember back at the time when this happened, people who weren't even ARMYs were upset because it just seemed quite unfair. There were rumors that a Grammy staff had talked about how BTS was a trend, and they were never going to do anything with them. And this is alleged by a former Grammy employee. So take that as you will. People were screaming racism because it certainly felt this way. We don't have any Asian representation, and the one that we get is one that destroys all records, breaks them entirely, and beats every other artist in sales and all that, only to not win, but then also hear that Grammys may never give BTS an award because they are Asian. Could they come around the following year? We shall see, but we are dealing with a lot of deeply rooted prejudice and hatred that would be difficult to undo in a year. In this recent video that BTS put out, one of their bangtan bombs, and they had kind of went behind the scenes of that night of the Grammys and showcased everything. The boys showcased the work that went into their Grammy performance and then showed the night the Grammys aired. And they were not able to make it to the red carpet in America, but they simply watched it on TV. They were up since 2 a.m. to get ready and then watched it at like 4 a.m. Korean time. Not entirely clear on the time, but it was just very early and you can tell how tired everyone was. I don't know why they had a whole crew do makeup and stuff for this. It could have just been a simple them in their PJs live streaming their reaction, but I guess they wanted to make that moment special in case BTS won. From this video, and my favorite thing about it, you can see how humble they are. They did not expect to win. They very much had this idea in their head that they may not win, and talked about if they didn't win, they would be okay. And then it was announced the winner and they did not win. Everyone seemed to be okay with it. They were smiling, but you had people like J-Hope who definitely looked sad under his smile. And the crew seemed low energy at that point, probably also hoping BTS would win. They then bought out a cake after the loss to still celebrate, and the cake said Grammy nominated artist, meaning they probably had a Grammy winner cake as well, and they were just waiting for the results to see which cake to bring out. In the video, they then continued to watch the performance. They submitted to the Grammys and remained happy that they even got a chance to perform and have their own stage that year, because the stage before, they shared it with Lil Nas X. I felt like the boys in the video were very disappointed, and J-Hope even talked about what ARMY's reactions were going to be and that they would be really sad. It was very interesting because when they brought out the cake for the Grammy nominated artist, it seemed like BTS or BTS's team blurred out the Grammy logo. And there's no reason really to do that, none that I can think of. I do believe the logo is okay to put in a video without issues. The only reason I can think they blurred it out was because they did not want to associate themselves with it. And maybe RM or BTS members were really mad because we know that RM was most excited about the Grammy and said it was the last thing he would want to complete their American journey. And that is just a conspiracy theory. The name Grammy definitely still appears on the video, and they mention it several times. During an interview, RM actually expressed how he felt about winning or losing the award. He mentioned that because he is Korean, he is no stranger to wanting accomplishments, but even if he lost, it's not a big deal because it would just be one more trophy on a shelf and then the normal day-to-day routine repeats. And that is true. The Grammys is just an award, and there's so many more important things than that award. An award doesn't grant food on the table. It doesn't grant you a loyal fan base, which they already have. It doesn't put food on your family's table. It's a silly piece of metal in the shape of a trumpet record player that we glorify. I found it very interesting when in one of the recent documentaries that BTS put out, the Inside My Universe documentary, RM talked about how he felt Chris Martin was so genuine and kind and that he didn't seem to hold any prejudice in him. And that is very interesting to me because you don't really ever know if the celebrity we talk about knows what is going on and knows that they are being treated unfairly because they never talk about it. And they usually can't do anything about it without getting blackballed. But RM saying that shows us he knows that a lot of the unfair treatment BTS gets is due to a lot of deeply rooted hatred towards Asian people, and this is something that they have to fight against. I think being in Korea your entire life and doing business mostly in Korea, you start to think that the world is fine with Asian people for the most part. But then they were probably shocked to see how badly they were treated just for existing in America and how they have to work 3 times harder than anyone else to be treated with half the respect. And this is every Asian male artist, if I'm going to be honest. Do I believe BTS and RM hates the Grammys for not winning the award? No. The other artists deserve to win too, and they know that. But I do think they hate the prejudice that they have to endure for their career, that hopefully years from now that will all change. Asian media is definitely taking over and is causing a huge splash in the world. We are starting to see more Asian shows being widely watched. I always knew K-dramas are very popular, and the reason why is because they're so good. They're usually very meaningful, and it's not always just romance. The stories are usually very intricate and very, very emotional. If you don't want to watch a full show in Korean, the show The Good Doctor, which was a Korean show that was made into an American adaptation, still has the same Korean director working on the American show. So you do 100% have that K-drama feel in this American TV show. But just to give you an idea, if you've ever watched it, it's so emotional. Recently, there is this show on Netflix called Squid Game, and it is currently on their way to be the biggest show. It's a show similar to Hunger Games where players compete to win a prize, but you're watching actors play the game and there's a story, so it's not reality TV. And basically, I believe the first season is over and people online have been requesting for this second season. And now, as I said, this is on its way to being the biggest show, so they will probably have another season. Armies have been petitioning to get Taeyang and Jin on the show for the second season and have even photoshopped them in pictures to show how they would look on the show. I love this idea so much. Taeyang obviously has had his acting debut before, but I would love to see him on this show. It's an absolute thriller and exciting show. It'll really test his acting skills, and it's just going to be a great show. Jin would be making his acting debut on the show, and I'm sure he will do such an amazing job. I really think he could pull it off and give an award-winning performance. There was an English actor named Simon Pegg who has admitted to being a BTS fan. He had talked about how Jin should be in one of the shows. Do I think they would actually do the show? I think they may not have a choice if they were asked. It's such a big opportunity, and why would they say no? This isn't 100% confirmed that it will happen. It's just a lot of people and some celebrities hoping and asking for this to happen. The only problem I have with any BTS member on a show like this, there is of course going to be a backlash if they go on the show. If Jin or Taeyang ends up dying before the season is over or anything like that, armies will literally protest against the show. However, I doubt that any of the BTS members wouldn't know this. I think they are aware that if they do any show, there's going to be backlash, and this could be a reason why they don't do too many shows except their own. They don't want to give a show a bad rep. But I do hope that what they decide to do and cool opportunities are not dictated by some bad apples in the bunch, but they do it anyway if they want to. I think this is such a good opportunity for Jin if he wanted to go after it. Taeyang hasn't expressed wanting to go into acting too much, but this would push Jin's acting career very far and hopefully open doors for him there, because people don't know how good Jin's acting chops are. I don't think any of us really do. I just know that if Jin were to do something, it's not going to be done half-heartedly. So I do believe in him. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I feature this comment right here. Thank you so much for leaving comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon if you want to go over there and check that out. I have a lot of videos over there that I can't really post on here. This is due to copyright or getting taken down, so I do keep it over there on my Patreon. You can get videos over there like music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions. You can also recommend things you would like to see over there. We currently do have over 400 videos that are already up on there that you can get the moment you sign up. We have a great time interacting and kind of just having fun over there. So if you're interested in any of that, the link is in the top description down below. There's also a video over there that kind of goes over how you can support the channel even more if you would like to do that. That video is on the front page and it's free to watch. With that said, there's 2 videos that will appear up on screen at the end of this video, so click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Bye.